Good evening. Welcome to the graduation exercises for the class of 2007. Please stand for the processional and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance and the National Anthem.
It is my pleasure to welcome our Long Meadow High School faculty and town officials to the 2007 graduation. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seniors, please remain standing. The audience may be seated. I would now ask our marshals, Molly Mackler and Todd Stewart, members of the junior class who have been selected by the seniors for this honor, to please seat the class of 2007. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Todd. As always, it is a pleasure to welcome the Long Meadow community, relatives, and friends to this wonderful evening as we gather to honor the accomplishments of the class of 2007. On behalf of the seniors, a thank you is extended to Superintendent E.J. Hart, to the members of the Long Meadow School Committee and School Council, to the Select Board, to our clergy, and to our teaching staff, especially Ms. Jeannie Gassina and Ms. Linda McShane, who are off to well-deserved retirement after 50 years of combined outstanding classroom instruction at Long Meadow High School. All of you have played a vital role in the education of these fine young people, and your effort will always be appreciated. Before speaking to the seniors, I would like to take a moment to address your parents. Hang in there. Believe it or not, in about an hour and a half, you have actually survived high school. By now, you realize that when I told you at 8th grade parents' night that these last 4 years would be a painless adventure, I was exaggerating just a bit. But seriously, you deserve a great deal of credit for getting your children to this point in their lives. Their accomplishments are also yours. Success does not occur without direction and support. Certainly, there were times of disappointment to go along with their successes, but in all situations, you were there for your children. The love and structure that you provided is a gift that they will always cherish. Please know that our staff has enjoyed our partnership with you in this important work. Now for the main reason we're here. Tonight, seniors, I'm pleased to announce that 248 of you have met graduation requirements. Take satisfaction in reaching this one of many milestones in your lives. Remember that although it is a time to celebrate, this is not an ending, but the beginning of many more adventures and challenges. In these past few years, you have acquired many skills to assist you in this process. You have worked your way through a rigorous curriculum, and you are well prepared. Think of it in these terms. What could possibly be more demanding than a block of AP English with Ms. McShane, or one of Mr. Musey's 2 or 3 hour rehearsals, or raking leaves for Mr. Deary for being late with your user's fee? Your teachers have insisted upon excellence, and you have responded in fine fashion. Keep your confidence, combine it with hard work, and you'll have the means to continued success. Usually, at this point in the ceremony, I present a comprehensive list of accomplishments of the senior class. However, tonight, knowing that our community is aware that approximately 95% of you will attend fine colleges, and that as seniors, you led our student body in continuing the tradition of having the most successful extracurricular, athletic, music, and art programs in Western Massachusetts, I thought instead that I would focus on an early school year event. I'm talking about the tragic loss of Bob Pisani, our teacher, our colleague, and our friend. My intention is certainly not to bring sadness to what is a night of celebration. Certainly, that is not something he would want me to do, but rather to share some thoughts to provide us with inspiration from a truly special person whose time with us, although short, was significant. At commencement activities, students are often encouraged to be contributors to their community, to go forth and help others. When I thought about this common advice, I immediately recalled Bob and how dedicated he was to this important work. In fact, as I observed your grief and reactions over several weeks, it was evident that one person had really made a difference. It made me realize that Bob was truly a hero. In your lifetime, you have or will encounter many heroes: a parent, a grandparent, teacher, coach, or friend. And my hope is that you understand the common value that guides their actions, that people matter. Heroes are people who value the welfare of others. They sacrifice personal gain or comfort to do what's necessary to assure the well-being of another. Their heroic feats do not have to be acts of rescue or extraordinary bravery. Think about Bob's actions on an everyday basis. His daily rounds to each of us so that we thought we were his favorite friend. The thousands of donut holes he distributed. His simple questions: how's things? Or is there anything I can do? His corny jokes and his questionable neckties that he thought were fashionable. His challenges to you about your behavior or choices with a reminder that you were responsible for outcomes. His clear love for his family, Ginger, Lauren, and Joseph, and his teaching us how much we should value and cherish our time with loved ones. His counseling and the action plans that he helped develop so that you could take back control of your lives. His caring attitude and his ability to make you feel that you were of value and were loved. His courage to join the few of us who are true Yankee fans in this hostile Red Sox nation. And his daily pep talks that this would be our year to return for our rightful place of glory. By the way, Bob, at 13 and a half games behind, if you can ask for any favors up there, now's the time. And finally, the constant assurance that you could go to him for anything, knowing he could always be counted on for support and guidance. These are the not-so-little things that make Bob our hero. Roger Staubach, a graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy and a former NFL quarterback, had this to say about a hero. Heroes are important and necessary symbols of our hopes and dreams, but they aren't gods. They're flesh and blood like the rest of us. But when the test comes, heroes react in extraordinary ways, rising above the ordinary, surpassing what would be expected. They never fail to inspire us to dream bigger, reach higher, and endure longer. Bob Pisani was a person who epitomized these characteristics. Here is what some students had to say not long after Bob's death in a note that they had sent to me. Bob can't be replaced, but his methods and unique way of teaching should be practiced. He was judgment-free, he listened well, and he provided guidance. This statement describes the essence of a true hero. What a sense of satisfaction and joy must come from providing this type of human decency to our society. We need to be grateful to our heroes, and we must add to our goals the desire to be helpful to others. Seniors, continue the work of Bob Pisani. Make your actions significant and always be the kind and caring people that we have seen you be over these past 4 years. Lomito High School is a better place because of your contributions, and being your principal has been a privilege. I hope that your memories are fond ones, and I wish each of you a lifetime of happiness and good health. Thank you. And now it is certainly my pleasure to introduce the president of the senior class, Jadira Mora.
Good evening, everyone. If someone had told me 4 years ago that I would be the one speaking at graduation, I probably would have laughed in their face. I remember when I first even considered joining student council. I was walking into my French class when Mr. Ream came up to me saying I should run for office. My first response, absolutely not. However, Mr. Ream did not stop there. He kept telling me it'd be a great opportunity, what if I got to lose? And he also said that if I was running against no one, I didn't have to make a speech. So I thought, okay, if I don't have to make a speech, why not? Unfortunately for me, I wasn't running alone. And when I realized that I had to make a speech, the next day I was in Mrs. Brown's office having a nervous breakdown. I had no idea what I was going to do, and I didn't think I could talk in front of my class. But when I got in front of my class and they cheered me on, I knew right then and there that being part of student council would be an amazing opportunity. I am so lucky to have been able to represent this class. It has been the greatest honor I've ever had. Each and every one of you has the potential to do amazing things with your life. Whether to pursue careers in sports, business, art, music, theater, film, dance, languages, or whatever you want. I've seen you guys apply yourselves to the things you are passionate about, and it's unbelievable what you can do. I look at these past years and I think about all the friends we've made and all the memories. We've all had our own bit of drama and those times when we just couldn't wait to get the heck out of here. But when it came down to it, we were there for each other when it mattered most. For the past month now, Bennett O'Brien, Andrew Samuels, and Michael Clark have been shoving cameras in my face asking me, Jadira, what has been your favorite memory of the past 4 years? And each time, after smacking the camera out of my face, I said the same thing. I'll get back to you on that. But the truth is, I didn't and I still don't know what my favorite memory is. I mean, how can I possibly choose a top favorite memory after everything that's happened? Think about it. Can you guys choose between Sam Nato chugging 17 ounces of maple syrup during International Cafe Day? Or Nicolino Ivacoli and Steve Fight and Kevitz in their Halloween costumes this year? Or how about that time when half of our class jumped into the ocean during our Newport field trip sophomore year? Or how we ended our football season perfectly by crushing Leominster? There's just so many things to be thankful for the past 4 years. To our teachers, yeah, we may have been moody during your classes, and it's true that we burnt our papers after the finals, but we wouldn't be here without you all. We thank you for all you have taught us and for those times when you were there to give us extra help. As for our class advisors, our class has been blessed with 2 amazing sets. Our eccentric duo of Mr. Ream, who not only wore bow ties, but kept a box of wasabi peas in his room, and Mrs. Colgan, who always wore her sunglasses indoors, were so supportive and encouraging, even when we came up with the most ridiculous ideas, such as a Jell-O eating contest. This past year, Mrs. Barker and Mrs. Rousseau proved from day one that they were hardworking and devoted to the class of 2007. It might seem bad to some of you to have to come to school 45 minutes early for homeroom every morning, but when you have a caffeine-crazy Mrs. Rousseau and Mrs. Barker who will always try to outdo you, it is truly the best way to start the day. So to my class, after today we're going to break off and go our separate ways. And I know I don't have to tell you all to remember the memories because quite frankly, how can you forget them? But we'll be seeing each other around and partying it up like usual when we come back during our vacations. So just remember to thank all of your teachers and family members for helping and guiding us through the years. Remember to be safe out there. Congratulations, class of 2007. You're truly incredible. And as Mr. Weir always said before taking a test, I wish you all the best of luck, though I'm sure you'll do just fine. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our Superintendent of Schools, E. Jen Hart.
Thank you, Jadira. Mr. Birdie, Assistant Superintendent Wilson, distinguished school committee members, select board members, esteemed faculty, members of the Longmeadow High School class of 2007, and beloved families and friends. It is a pleasure and a privilege to address you on this evening that is charged with pride and possibility and opportunity. Tonight, we celebrate an important achievement for you. I have been attending Longmeadow's graduation ceremonies for several years now, and every year I leave with pride and wonder. I know that tonight will be such a memorable event. We have already had the pleasure of hearing the wonderful brass choir. What a stirring performance. Thank you. We've heard from our respected principal and our class president, and we will also be hearing and seeing many of the gifted students from this class who will share their talents with us during the program tonight. Last year, after hearing a beautiful duet on this stage, I went home and signed on to iTunes to download the song I had heard. It was For Good from the musical Wicked, and it became a favorite of mine. Last year's graduation, as Mr. Birdie has also mentioned to you, was a bittersweet one for me. Bob Pisani invited me to join him and a group of faculty members for dinner before commencement. As usual, Bob brought daughter Lauren, and we enjoyed chatting over a meal before coming here to Symphony Hall. I will always think of Bob sitting over there with the high school staff members when I come into this room. I was so pleased to see Ginger and Lauren tonight, and that they're here in his memory. Many of you students made it here tonight because of Bob. I'd like to take a moment of silence to remember him and to give thanks for the difference he made in our lives. Thank you. This year's graduation will be a memorable one for me personally, since it is my first graduation as your superintendent. I've had the delight to get to know many of you students over the last 4 years through your membership in district learning team, school committee, student advisory councils, through your interviews for the Jotter and class assignments, and through your many activities on behalf of the Pisani family in the last year. I've seen many more of you on the playing field, in the gym, at the art shows, and at the musical performances. Yesterday morning, I had the pleasure of seeing so many of you receive honors and recognitions at the awards ceremony. You have been described by your teachers, your parents, and your administrators as a great class. There's a special quality about the class of 2007, a sense of camaraderie and friendship and a spirit of goodwill. I'm going to predict that as you go your separate ways, you will nevertheless stay in touch with each other. And I know that you have made a lasting impression on your teachers, who will remember you with fondness. And now I'd like to give you a few words for the future. 4 brief thoughts. First, take risks to reach your dreams. Don't be afraid of failure. Expect to fail sometimes. We all do. Just make sure you learn from your failures. I have a secret to share. Whenever I get scared about taking a risk, I think, what's the worst that could happen? Like tonight. A few weeks ago, Mr. Birdie came to me and asked if I wanted to give an address for graduation. He said the superintendent typically does that, but I could start my own tradition. I thought, what's the worst that could happen if I give a graduation speech? Sound familiar, Jadira? Well, I thought I could slip and fall on the stage and look pretty silly. Or I could leave my speech on the car seat with the window open while I'm driving here and watch it go wafting across the highway. Or I could put you all to sleep. And then I imagined the consequences, the worst that could happen. If I did slip and fall on the stage and look really silly, I'd be embarrassed. But gosh, you'd remember it for a really long time. When you talked about graduation years from now, you'd say, hey, remember what's her name who slipped and fell on the stage? I would have been memorable. And if I lost my speech on the way here, I'd probably make something up like, you don't really want to hear another speech, so good luck and have a great life. And you'd be so pleased that I gave a short speech. And if I put you to sleep, at least you'd have a chance to take a nap before the after-graduation celebration. Yeah, I know. Ultimately, I decided I could handle the worst that could happen, and I made my choice. The same premise, of course, works with bigger decisions. From auditioning for a solo, to moving across the country, entering a competition, or making life change. So if you decide you can live with the consequences of failure, take risks to reach your dreams. My second thought is to live each day so that when you close your eyes at night, you can say, I did okay today. I was kind to somebody I didn't like. I worked hard and I'm proud of what I've done. I messed up, but I admitted my mistake and apologized. Be able to rerun the film of your life that day and think, I could share this film. At least I could share it with a little editing. Be at peace with yourself at the end of the day. My third thought is, love what you do. You'll be working hard the next few years, preparing for or embarking on a career. Try to make it the right one for you. Make sure it's something you do well, but also make sure you want to spend a good part of your life doing this thing, whether it's being a broker, a doctor, a chemist, an artist, a plumber, a pilot, a teacher. Be prepared to work hard at what you do, and you'll probably do it well. But also be prepared to change your mind and choose something else if it isn't a good match. Remember lesson 1 about taking risks to reach your dream? If you can't make the most of what you are doing, do what makes the most of you. And finally, be grateful. Take time every day to give thanks. Give thanks for the good fortune that brought you into this world. A world with family and friends who love you. A world with skillful, caring teachers who opened your eyes to the joys of learning. A world with comforts and enough to eat. A world with opportunities and possibilities. A world that made you one of the lucky ones. Whenever you face hardship or pain, remember to count your blessings, and then look around you and find a way to help someone else. So my thoughts for you tonight: take risks to reach your dreams. Go to sleep each night knowing you did okay that day. Love what you do, so you can share them with others. Good luck, Godspeed, Carpe Diem.
Before me sits the class of 2007, most of whom will leave today to join a new class, the class of 2011. But before we go our separate ways, it's important we look back on some special days. On a warm September day in 2003, many of us woke to a feeling of glee. It was our first day of high school, and we were ready to rule. But little did we know, the seniors had their own idea of how things would go. They saw themselves as the predators and us the prey. Our only choice was to remain astray. Our next biggest rival was probably a teacher or two. You know, those ones you avoid by claiming you have the flu. But there was one class that I'm sure none of us would up and pass. It was taught by a teacher named Mrs. Coyne, a woman whose laugh was one you must join. She told some jokes that were pretty lame, but nonetheless vastly began to gain fame. I think most of us will remember that warm summer day, the one Mrs. Coyne asked if the girls could stay. She ushered the boys out, closed the door, and told us there was one thing she couldn't ignore. Our skirts and our shirts weren't quite right. She would appreciate it from now on they weren't so tight. But that story became one of the past as we moved on up to sophomore year quite fast. We thought we had gained some recognition at last, but to our disbelief, we were still considered the underclass. We were met by another teacher of science. This one, however, came with an alliance. His name was Mr. Goodwin. He had white hair and an evil grin, an interesting sense of style that, let's just say, isn't quite versatile. He has an obsession with duct tape and Marvin the Mole, who on many occasions hoping to get out of a test we stole. But there's one thing that only he can do, make a daily quiz feel like playing a game of taboo. All right, ready? Okay? Now, Mr. Goodwin, is that a toupee? Junior year... Junior year arrived, along with the privilege to drive. There are so many teachers who come to mind, some scary and some kind. Teachers you didn't even have, yet everyone knows, like Doc Howe and that smirk he always seems to show. Then there's Mr. Hirsch and his tests. The week before, students who don't even have him become stressed. Mr. Metzger taught math. He was one of those teachers you could tell hadn't chosen the right path. Our lessons were interrupted by random stories, every so often, one being gory. He had taught in Springfield for several years and came to Longmeadow to work with new peers. But I guess he wasn't a fan of pop collars, because after only a year, he traded in his career to become a scholar. Or how about that small incident with Mr. Porter in France, the one where he fell out of a tree and the camera just happened to catch a glance? But like a yawn, junior year had come and gone. Senior year was actually here. It was our time, our year. We were now the rulers of the school, the people that made the freshmen drool. But along with all the glory, there was a lot more to the story. College applications and scholarships galore. It was pretty easy not to care anymore. But we kept ourselves on track, even if it was only to keep our parents off our back. But there were a few classes that brought laughs, I can guarantee, most of which took place in the BTC. There's Mrs. Kervian and Mrs. Morse, who on more than one occasion I actually forgot who was teaching the course. They are two women I'm sure a lot of us will never forget, the type of people that can make you smile even when you're upset. Then there's Mr. Pantusco, a teacher of many trades, who just happens to spend his spare time lifting weights. And those famous E-blocks taught by Goldilocks, a teacher who's very into reading and has a love of cheerleading. There are so many people that I wish I could mention, but honestly, half of it would probably just create tension. We have been through a lot over the past 4 years, and I'm sure tonight there will be a few tears. But let's think of all the good we've done, the time together, and all the fun. People can try and tell you how senior year will go, but I honestly believe it is something only you can know. I just have one last thing I'd like to say by one of my favorite bands, Dispatch. Say what you want, say what you mean. Question yourself, are you really what you seem? Say who you are, say what you mean. Question yourself, are you really what you dream?
Ladies, gentlemen, Beegs. We've learned a lot in the past 4 years. Math, science, Latin, Spanish, French, history, Latin, math, Latin. Thank you, Ms. Faulkner. But more importantly, we learned how to get a week's worth of studying into the block before the test, how to avoid the teachers watching the door to make a run to White Hut, or how to skillfully negotiate an acceptance of a late paper. It's been said, esteemed faculty, that those who can't do, teach. And those who can't teach, teach meteorology. But I'd like to take this time to thank all of you for the homework that just frankly didn't get done. In the midst of our race to the finish, we've made some good memories. The epic duel of the angels and the devils, the masterful confectionery stylings of the lunch ladies on Spicy Chicken Tuesdays, the numerous calls down to Mrs. Brown's office, or Tom Lander's office. But what I'd really like to leave you with is a few words of advice. Don't take yourself too seriously, lest you become a stuffy old dean of admissions at a random high school. And that's all I've got to say about that. Thank you.
Good evening. This poem is dedicated to Mrs. Linda McShane, who has been a tremendous inspiration to me, as well as hundreds of other Long Meadow High School students over the past 30 years. Ms. McShane, thank you for all you've done for us. The Muppet Show. What is life but one giant Muppet Show? Men and Muppets are so alike. Yes, Kermit's a frog and his cronies are mainly animals as well, but they can all speak. They all have problems. You and I can relate to this Kermit, who struggles for self-confidence just because he is green. Or the glamorous Miss Piggy, who's in complete denial of her own unrequited love for Kermit. We can identify with these ridiculous characters. In fact, it is often hard to differentiate them from real people. After a while, we forget that they are just puppets with no thoughts or feelings or souls. We even forget Kermit's eyes are just ping pong balls. But sometimes we think that maybe we all just feel like Muppets, like leaves blowing helplessly at the mercy of the wind. We get so absorbed in what everyone else is thinking and doing that we lose track of our own values and ambitions. This is no way to live. As human beings, we have been given our own voices, minds, and hearts. There will always be people, puppeteers, trying to control us, but we must never surrender to them. We must always strive out, challenge, create, inspire, believe, and most importantly, love. Because life is not about being another Muppet in the show. It is about showing the world that we pull our own strings. Thank you.
We got some sound here? Ha 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 ha. It is way too quiet in here. So how you guys doing? Are you guys excited? We're about to graduate here. This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. I don't know, you ever have that dream that you're standing in front of a big crowd naked or something? I don't know. That's kind of what I feel like right now. But anyway, the song that I'm going to share with you guys tonight is by a wonderful, wonderful poet. His name's Paul Simon. And this is for you guys. And I think that this song will make much more sense if we all sing it at the end. So I'm going to teach you guys something, and you better sing. So, you guys think you can handle that? Is that all right? Is that all right? All right, let's try that. Let's try that. One. I didn't hear anything. Come on now. It's easy. It's real easy. Ready? Good. All right. We have a chorus out there. That's pretty cool. All right. So I'm going to play through this song, and at the end, very end, you'll know when to come in. I'll give you a little look or something.
Mrs. Wagner pies and walked off to look for America. Kitty, I said as we boarded a Greyhound in Pittsburgh, Michigan seems like a dream to me now. It took me 4 days to hitchhike from Saginaw, and I've come to look for America. Laughing on the bus, playing games with the faces. She said the man in the gabardine suit was a spy. I said, be careful, his bow tie is really a camera. Toss me a cigarette, I think there's one in my raincoat. I smoked the last one an hour ago. So I looked at the scenery. She read her magazine, and the moon rose over an open field. Kathy, I'm lost, I said, though I knew she was sleeping. I'm empty, I'm aching, and I don't know why. Oh, shoot. Counting the cars on the Long Meadow Turnpike, they've all come to look for America. All come to look for America. All come to look for America. Ready?
In the wake of our joyous senior year, the students and faculty of Longmeadow High School were struck by a tragedy that no one could have predicted. With the passing of Robert Pisani, or more commonly known, Bob, our community lost a teacher, role model, confidant, and most importantly, a friend. As a class, we would like to remember Bob by donating $1,000 to the Bob Pisani Children's Fund. In addition to this donation, our class will also be giving $200 to each of the 9 academic departments in the high school. This money can be used at the department's discretion.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the advisors for the class of 2007, Mrs. Mary Ellen Barker and Mrs. Jennifer Rousseau.
It is now time for the awarding of diplomas. As principal of Long Meadow High School, I'm pleased to acknowledge that the members of the class of 2007 before us tonight have completed their graduation requirements. In recognition of this fact, I would ask the seniors to please move their tassels. Marshals, would you please direct the seniors as they receive their diplomas from Ms. Mary Vogel, the chair of the Long Meadow School Committee, and Superintendent E. Jan Hart. Thank you.
Jadira Christina Mora. Bennett Raymond O'Brien. Colin Nicholas Shebar. Christopher Nathan Klofsiegel. Jacqueline Marielle Meth.
Casey Adams. Stephen Abraham Al-Husseini. Erica Amy Albert. Mate Alexandru. Brianna Alger. Barry Stephen Almeida. Brendan Scott Anderson. Haley Stewart Anderson. Jacqueline Marie Andrews. Katie Marie Aerosmith. David Robert Art. Joshua Michael Auerbach. Marissa Monique Ayotte.
Catherine Mary Bagley. Joseph Simeon Baker. Patrick Gerald Baker. Jeffrey Adam Balaban. Jessica Beth Bayless. Janelle Sade Bascom. Catherine Hope Basile. Thomas Michael Burse. Autumn Lynn Bolak. Stephanie Alexis Begg. Erica Lee Belazarian. Patrick Robert Bellanoit. Matthew Gus Berg. Whitney McGee Birtwell.
Margot Rose Bitzer. John Jude Blaine. Megan Elizabeth Blakeman. Vincent Anthony Brancini. Sean Elliott Brinker. Lauren Eileen Broderick. Shannon Loretta Brown. Andrew Michael Burke. Eamon Patrick Byrne. Neil Andrew Carroll. Jimin Chang. Melody Cho. Michael Robert Clark. John Davidson Cody.
Anna Rose Cohn. Edward Andrew Comini. Elizabeth Nolan Compton. Kevin Michael Conley. Jared William Coughlin. Deborah Allen Covey. Kara Lynn Croto. Vincent Sonny D'Angelo. Brandon Keon Daniels. Kiara Moe Daniels. Tyler Ravel Dawson. Nicholas Daniel DeLuca. Nino James DeMarco. Robert James Diamond III.
Sarah Lindsay Dickstein. Melanie Ann Dionisi. Megan Ann Dobson. Bridget Gail Doherty. Christopher Anthony Donahue. Zachary Joseph Dragone. Nora Elizabeth Drapalski. Natalie Kate Drucker. Lena Dewan. Lindsay Ella Dibdal. Brendan Joseph Egan. Jeffrey H. Emanuel II. Rebecca Elizabeth Engel. Bridget Ann Fallon.
Vanessa Ann Feedy. Cesare Gianni Federico. James Michael Filomeno. Nicholas Harrison Fioretti. Jeffrey Donald Flamati. Megan Chiffon Foley. Christine Rebecca Fox. Margot Isabella Smith Frank. Benjamin Ross Friedman. Stephen Christopher Biden-Kevins. Nicholas Edward Gang. Brandon Leslie Gauthier. Jonathan Seth Gogel. Michael Charles Green.
Alyssa Lynn Grumoli. Alejandro Hermel Guardia. Luzed Lindsay Guzman. Courtney Ellen Halista. Courtney Elizabeth Hall. Jessica Sarah Halpern. Ryan Lamar Harrison. Daniel Blaze Arias. Andrew Daniel Hayes. John Christopher Hayes. Molly Elizabeth Heffernan. Matthew Lewis Hybert. William Ryan Higgins. Nathan Rudolph Hirsch.
Caroline Rose Hobart. Caitlin Elizabeth Humphrey. Thomas Patrick Hurley. Rayhan Alahi Hussein. Nicolino Giovanni Ivacoli. Jerome Allen James. Kristen Mora Joyce. Scott Glewa Judson. Nicholas Scott Kadushin. Daniela Rose Kay. Tyler James Keene. Anne Marie Kieran. Hillary Page Khalid. Samantha Teresa Kelly.
Thomas Peter King. Alyssa Ann Kippitz. Krista Lewis Kerner. Brittany Joelle Comack. Brian Aaron Corman. Nathaniel S. Cornett. Timothy Franklin Kreinest. Rachel Catherine Kuziak. Jennifer Patrice Laboulas. Matthew Philip Lacusa. Lauren Catherine LaFountain. John Robert Lake. Benjamin Jacob Lakritz. Jasleen LaSanta.
Louis Henry Lasco. Jonathan David Littell. James Fendel Lorenzano. Shaniqua Latrice Lawson. Bryant Hui Lee. Andrew James Lee. Elizabeth Jin Lee. Megan Elizabeth Lee. Taya Male Libos. Abigail Sophia Licht. Matthew Sutherland Losi. William Thomas McKenzie. Brett William Manick. Julia Kim Manna.
Alexandra Nicole Mansfield. Jillian Rose Manzi. Corey Rand Marchik. Matthew Murata. Jessica Rose Mason. James Dobbins McGoldrick. Clayton John McGrath. Ryan Patrick McKenna. Christopher Ryan McMahon. Victor Mark Malikian. Alexander Lloyd Mendez. Dana Lee Mengwasser. Chelsea Elizabeth Miller.
David Garrett Miller. David Hislop Miller. Rachel Elizabeth Millimet. Susan Elizabeth Merkin. Jasmine Chantel Moss. Edward O'Leary Mulhern. Mia Noel Murator. Brian Edward Murphy. Shannon Marie Murphy. Samuel Roger Nadeau. Christina Michelle Nardi. Anne Elizabeth Neal. Kayla Ann Nelson. Arkady Norkin.
Alexandra Joanna Novak. Jillian Nicole O'Keefe. Megan Jane O'Leary. Miles Augustin Ochoa. Eric Paul Ernest Olson. David Packard. Neil Bharat Patel. Alexis Marie Payne. Carly Marie Payne. Andrew McVeigh Pedersen. Crystal Joy Faniff. Tiffany Hart Faniff. Brittany Lee Procuro. Daniel Robert Poisson.
Sean Edward Quinn. Emily Brittany Race. Regina Marie Rashi. Charles Joseph Riley IV. Sally Elizabeth Robert. Laura Elizabeth Robinson. Sarah Margaret Rome. Daniel Catello Rossi. Amanda Marie Rudier. Daniel James Ryan. Adam Jonathan Sampson. Andrew Thomas Samuels. Alexander Chase Santinello. Krista Lynn Santinello.
Tyler Cameron Saremi. Tara Lynn Sarno. Bennett Taylor Schneider. Zachary Jonathan Sears. Christopher Daniel Seaton. Brendan James Sheehan. Tariq Tahir Sheikh. Dana Michelle Shaipula. Lisa Ann Simmons. Sophie Elizabeth Skelton. Zachary Taylor Skoll. Daniel Mark Smith. Rita Solkelson. Tamra Solkelson.
Thomas James Soteropoulos. Angela Marie Stasiowski. John Richard Steele. Jamie Louise Sullivan. Catherine Marie Sutherland. Richard H. Talbot. Maxwell Douglas Taylor. Yanej Shamai Thomas. Yanira Aimish Thomas. David John Ternervia. Jonathan Brendan Tobias. Mia Christina Tosani. Leanna Marie Valdez.
Dustin Joel Van Scowen. Mark Mardiros Bartarizian. Megan Odette Vesey. Kasha Ann Vinsunis. Gina Elizabeth Warga. Dennis Russell Wells. Stephanie Ruth Whitney. Anthony Michael Willett. Nicholas Vogel Williamson. Carrie Haas Wilson. Erin Margaret Wilson. Jessica Rachel Weiner. Dora May Yang.
Marshals, would you please have the seniors stand? I present to you the Long Meadow High School graduating class of 2007. Thank you, everyone. Marshals, you can take the seniors. We appreciate your coming. Good luck, seniors.